Welcome to Pages to Dialogues, your premier destination for insightful discussions on Christian books. Join me as we delve into the pages of thought-provoking Christian literature and explore the timeless truths and principles that can transform our lives. From classic devotionals to contemporary bestsellers, we'll engage in meaningful dialogues that will inspire, encourage, and challenge you to grow deeper in your faith. So, subscribe to Pages to Dialogues now and join the conversation. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on new episodes and exclusive content. Let's turn pages into conversations that matter.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating topic, the reality around us that we often don't see. We're using Lester Sumrall's 1993 book, Angels to Help You, as our guide.
Yeah, and it feels like the perfect timing for this. I mean, you look around, there's this huge interest, almost a craving for the supernatural.
Definitely. UFOs, the occult, spiritism, ESP, it's everywhere.
Exactly. But Sumrall really emphasizes, look, that whole landscape is just full of, well, confusion and misinformation. He argues we absolutely have to filter that and go straight to the Bible. He calls it the only accurate source book on this.
Makes sense. And it's not like it's a minor theme there. You mentioned almost 300 references to angels.
That's right, nearly 300. So you just can't write them off as, myths or folklore.
Right. So our mission today really is to get past all the hype, the sensational stuff, and figure out the practical biblical role angels play, how they're involved, right now in believers' lives.
And Sumrall kicks things off with a really powerful story, an anecdote that sort of sets the stage for everything else. It's from the Great Depression.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his family was really struggling, like so many were. And this stranger knocks on the door. Perfectly clean, well-dressed, but clearly hungry.
Okay.
And his mother, just out of compassion, invites him in, gives him food.
Wow, even when they had little themselves.
Exactly. But it gets stranger. The man eats, and then he starts talking about, deep Bible truths. And then he prays for the family, really prays for them.
A blessing in disguise, maybe.
You could say that. But here's the kicker. The moment the man steps out the door, they turn their backs for just a second, and poof, he's gone.
Gone, vanish.
Completely vanished. In broad daylight, residential street, they looked, called out, nothing.
Whoa.
And Sumrall says that immediately brought Hebrews 13.2 to mind. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
That experience must have shaped his whole view, the idea that these messengers could be, right here among us.
It's the core idea, that we're interacting with the divine realm more than we realize.
It really does change how you see everyday life, doesn't it? Okay, so let's unpack this. If they're real, what does the Bible actually say about them? How does Sumrall start defining them?
Well, first off, just by sheer numbers, like we said, 108 times in the Old Testament, 165 in the New, it shows they're central, not marginal figures.
Right.
And crucially, Jesus himself taught about them, their existence, their power, even their role in the future. Matthew 13 is a good example of that. It wasn't just an Old Testament thing.
Okay, so Jesus confirms they're real, but what are they fundamentally?
Sumrall's definition is pretty concise. Created spirit beings. So they had a beginning created by God, but they're spirit, not flesh and blood in the way we are.
And immortal.
That's right, immortal. Luke 20.36 says believers in the resurrection will be equal unto the angels because they cannot die anymore. So angels don't die.
And their name itself gives a clue. Angelus.
Yeah, it literally just means messenger. That's their primary function, their title.
Okay. And where do they fit in the grand scheme of things, hierarchy-wise?
That's really interesting. The Bible puts them pretty high up. Definitely higher than humans in their current state. Psalm 8.5 says humanity was made a little lower than the angels.
And more powerful.
Yes, significantly. Peter 2.11 specifically says angels are greater in power and might. It implies a capacity far beyond ours.
Is that just physical power, or does it include intelligence?
Intelligence, too. There's that phrase in 2 Samuel, the wisdom of an angel of God. It's just, a profound level of understanding. They can grasp divine plans and worldly events in ways we probably can't.
But they don't know everything. That's an important distinction Sumrall make.
Absolutely critical. They are not omniscient. Matthew 24.36 is the key verse there. Even the angels don't know the hour of the Lord's return, only the Father. So vast intelligence, yes, but limited.
And yet they seem really interested in what God is doing, especially regarding us.
Oh, intensely curious. 1 Peter 1.12 says they desire to look into the plan of salvation. Think about that. These incredibly powerful, intelligent beings are watching God's redemption story unfold with, like, rapt attention. They're learning, too.
That's quite humbling, actually, and there are a lot of them.
An unimaginable number. Hebrews 12:22 calls them an innumerable company. Job asks, is there any number of his armies? The picture is vast, heavenly armies, legions, as Jesus mentioned, he could call upon.
Armies implies structure, ranks.
Exactly. And Sumrall touches on that. You've got these high ranks with specific jobs, like the cherubim.
They show up early, right? Guarding Eden?
That's them. Genesis 3:24. Their main role seems to be guarding God's sacred presence, his holiness, keeping access controlled, like divine security.
And then the seraphim.
Isaiah 6, their name means burning ones. They seem focused on proclaiming God's holiness, his moral purity. They're the ones crying, holy, 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 and involved in cleansing Isaiah. So cherubim guard the place, seraphim guard the very nature of God's purity.
Fascinating distinction. And then there are the ones we actually know by name.
Right. Just two are named in the Protestant Bible, Michael and Gabriel.
Michael, the archangel. He sounds like the fighter.
Definitely the warrior.
Yeah.
The chief prince, the commander. He contends with Satan, defends Israel in Daniel's visions. He's God's top general, you could say.
And Gabriel.
Gabriel is the messenger par excellence, the communicator. He explains visions to Daniel, and then, crucially, he gets the assignment to announce the births of both John the Baptist and Jesus.
Wow. So one's the warrior, one's the herald.
Sort of the archetypes, yeah. Military and communication specialists in the heavenly realm.
Okay, that gives us a good picture of who they are. But let's get practical. What do they actually do for believers? You mentioned Psalm 91.
Yes, Psalm 91.11 is almost like the job description for their earthly assignments. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. That's personal. That's active.
Charge over thee sounds like protection is key.
It is, but Sumrall outlines about 5 main areas of their ministry towards us, besides their primary rule of worshiping God, of course.
Okay, what's the first?
Direction and guidance. And this isn't vague intuition. It can be very specific. Think about Philip in Acts 8.
The Ethiopian eunuch.
Right. An angel tells Philip, go south to the desert road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza. Super specific instructions leading to a divine appointment.
So they can literally reroute us.
Absolutely. Second is protection and deliverance. This is maybe what we think of most often. Protecting from harm.
Like Daniel in the lion's den.
Classic example. The angel shut in the lions' mouths. Or think about Paul on that ship in the storm, Acts 27. Things are falling apart. Everyone's panicking.
And an angel appears to him.
Yeah, it tells him, don't be afraid, Paul. God is graciously giving you the lives of all who sail with you. Direct assurance and physical preservation in the middle of chaos.
Okay, so guidance, protection. What else?
Third, encouragement and strength. This is huge, especially when facing spiritual or emotional battles. The most powerful example.
Jesus in Gethsemane.
Exactly. Luke 22.43 says, an angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. If Jesus needed that kind of angelic support in his agony, how much more do we?
That's a really comforting thought. What's number 4?
Escorting the righteous at death. It's a ministry of transition. Luke 16, the story of Lazarus and the rich man. It says Lazarus was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom.
So they're there at the very end of our journey, too.
Seems so. A final act of service. And fifth, maybe surprisingly, they are also agents of judgment.
Right. They're not always gentle.
No. They carry out God's judgments when necessary. Remember the Assyrian army. 2 Kings 19, an angel strikes down 185,000 soldiers in one night. And they play major roles in the judgments in the book of Revelation. They wield swords, too.
Okay, so quite a range of activities. Guidance, protection, strength, escorting, and judgment. But who gets this help? Is it automatic for believers?
That's a crucial question Sumrall addresses. He suggests it's strongly linked to our relationship with God. Angels primarily help those who know and serve God.
Like Daniel. His devotion was key.
Precisely. His commitment to prayer and serving God, even when it was dangerous, seems directly linked to the angelic intervention. Or Cornelius in Acts 10.
The Roman centurion.
Yeah, the text goes out of its way to describe him. A devout man, one who feared God with all his household, who gave alms generously, and prayed continually to God. It seems that kind of consistent faith and action attracts angelic notice and ministry.
So it's tied to faithfulness and also perhaps specific needs.
Yes, definitely. Angels help those with special needs or in impossible situations. Peter and the apostles getting sprung from prison in Acts 5, that wasn't just routine.
That was a miracle.
Totally. And Sumrall includes a more modern story about Sadhu Sundar Singh, the Indian evangelist.
What happened to him?
He was preaching in Tibet, got arrested, thrown into this deep, dark pit, or, well, basically left to die. The lid was sealed, and the local lama held the only key.
Sounds hopeless.
Completely. But the next morning, the lama goes for check. The lid is still locked, the seal intact. But Sundar Singh is gone. He was found miles away, safe. Later, the lama apparently admitted some kind of bright being, an angel, came in the night, opened the pit, lifted him out, and then sealed it back up.
Wow. That's direct intervention against impossible odds.
It shows God can dispatch angels to override any human limitation or physical law to rescue his people when they face extraordinary needs.
That is just incredible. But there's another side to the angelic realm, isn't there? The opposition.
Yeah, we have to talk about the rebel angels. Sumrall dedicates time to this because you can't understand the spiritual landscape without acknowledging the enemy.
Starting with Lucifer.
Right, originally perhaps the highest angel, full of wisdom and beauty. But pride was his downfall. Isaiah 14 lays out those 5 arrogant "I will" statements.
I will ascend to heaven, I will raise my throne above the stars of God.
Exactly. Sheer ambition to usurp God, and for that he was cast out.
And Revelation says he took others with him.
The third part of the stars of heaven, Revelation 12.4 says, often interpreted as a vast number of angels who joined his rebellion. These became demons.
So why is it still important to be aware of them now? Isn't their fate sealed?
Their ultimate fate is sealed, yes. But the battle isn't over yet. Sumrall stresses they are still active, opposing believers. They work as deceivers, tempters. Revelation calls Satan the accuser of our brethren.
And they can be tricky, right? Disguises.
Very tricky. 2 Corinthians 11 warns that Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light, and his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. They can appear good or religious to mislead people. They're also linked to affliction, and in some cases, possession. Vigilance is key.
It sounds intense, but there's assurance of victory in Christ.
Absolutely. 1 John 3.8 says the Son of God appeared to destroy the works of the devil, and Revelation 20 describes Satan's final, eternal defeat. The victory is already won, even if the fighting continues for now.
Okay. So acknowledging the opposition is important, but let's shift back to encouragement. Sumrall talks about the idea of a private angel, like a guardian angel.
He does explore that, yes. Now, the Bible doesn't explicitly state every believer gets one assigned guardian angel in those exact words. But there are some strong hints.
Like the language used.
Yeah. Sumrall points to those singular pronouns, again in Psalm 91.11, charge over thee, and Jacob's blessing in Genesis 48, where he refers to the angel who has redeemed me from all evil. It sounds quite personal.
But the main text people point to is about children, isn't it?
Right. Matthew 18.10. Jesus says about little children, "See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that in heaven their angels always see the face of my Father." Plural children, plural angels, they're angels. That's probably the strongest suggestion of personally assigned angels, at least for children.
Interesting. It implies a specific ongoing connection.
It does. And Sumrall shares another personal story that seems to illustrate this kind of individual protection.
The one near Tibet.
That's it. He got separated from his group, totally lost in rugged terrain near the border. Real danger. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a young man appears on horseback. This man speaks perfect English.
Yeah.
Unlikely, in that remote area, gives Sumrall precise directions to find his party, points the way,
And then, let me guess.
and then just vanishes. Gone. Sumrall was convinced it was an angel sent specifically to rescue him from that potentially fatal situation. His personal angel, perhaps.
That makes Psalm 34.7 feel very real. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him.
Exactly. Not miles away, but roundabout, close, encircling, actively present.
This whole deep dive has really shifted things. Angels aren't just Christmas card decorations. They're active, powerful beings involved in God's work and potentially our daily lives. What's the big takeaway Sumrall wants us to have?
I think it's that this isn't a temporary thing. He calls them angels forever. Their worship, their service, it continues into eternity. His main plea seems to be, don't be ignorant. Understand, for the Bible, the incredible support system God has provided for us. It's there, accessible through faith and prayer.
We really can't afford to be blind to this invisible reality, can we? To the help that's available, the battles being fought for us. It changes how you pray, how you face challenges.
It should, knowing you're not alone, that heaven's resources can be deployed. We need to live expecting God to act, maybe even open our spiritual eyes like Elisha's servant to see the angelic assistance surrounding us.
So, the final thought to leave everyone with.
Well, it brings us right back to that first story, doesn't it? About the stranger. It flips the script on service. Sumrall challenges you, the listener. You might have an unexpected chance to reach out, to show God's love, and in doing so, you might actually interact with one of these amazing beings yourself.
So keep Hebrews 13.2 in mind always.
Always. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. You just never know when that ordinary encounter might be an appointment with the extraordinary.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Pages to Dialogues. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and found valuable insights to apply to your life. If you did, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, Pages to Dialogues, for more thought-provoking dialogues on Christian books. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on this episode. Please leave a comment below, and let's continue the conversation.